I always thought this house had a weird vibe, nothing terrifying, just off. Small place, narrow hallway, and the bathroom was in the back with a tight little door that almost touched the laundry area. I moved in because it was cheap, and honestly, I just didn't want roommates anymore. The strange stuff didn't start right away. At first, it was just discomfort. Every time I walked out of the bathroom, I felt like I'd forgotten something. Not my toothbrush, not a towel. Just like I'd left too quickly. Like something was still watching me. The bathroom had no windows. The only thing there was an old mirror. It came with the place. One of those long, slightly warped rectangles with stains that looked like mold trapped behind the glass. I began leaving the bathroom staring at the floor. It made me uneasy to see my reflection while closing the door. Then came the first real scare. One night, after a long shift, I went in just to brush my teeth. The ceiling light was flickering faintly. And as I leaned toward the sink, I had this overwhelming feeling. My reflection was already waiting for me. I hadn't even looked at the mirror directly yet. But I could feel it staring. Serious, steady, like it had seen me first. I laughed nervously, felt stupid. But then a thought crept in, so absurd that it made my skin crawl. What if it only pretends to reflect when I'm looking? I slammed the door and locked myself in my bedroom. I stayed there in silence, pretending it was nothing. But I knew something was wrong with that mirror. The next morning I avoided it again. Rinsed my face while looking at the sink. But that evening everything felt different. The house was too quiet, like the silence had weight. I walked toward the bathroom, refusing to look at the mirror, until I heard something. A tap, gentle, like a fingertip against glass. I opened my eyes, and my reflection was off. Barely, but enough. I blinked. It blinked after me. I turned my head. It followed a beat late. My stomach dropped. My hands went cold. I slammed the door and backed away into the hallway. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe it's the light. So I tested it. I waited 20 seconds, then crept back slowly. I peeked through the door crack, just enough to see inside. And there it was. My reflection, already staring at the door. I hadn't stepped in yet, but it was already watching the spot I was about to appear. I slammed the door and stumbled backward. And worse than anything else, I knew I was testing it. In the days that followed, I avoided the bathroom, brushed my teeth in the kitchen, showered in the dark so I wouldn't catch a glimpse of the glass. It was ridiculous, but it was either that or go crazy. Then it escalated. I woke up one night thirsty. Went to the kitchen. The house was dark. As I passed the hallway, I heard it again. A click, like fingers on the metal sink. One step, click. Another, click, click. I held up my phone, trembling, flashlight on. I aimed it through the door gap. And in the mirror, I saw me. But I was hunched over, shoulders raised, staring. Closer to the mirror than I could have been. I ran back to my room, locked the door, tried not to breathe. But after that, it didn't care whether I was looking or not. Sometimes, I'd turn my head, and the reflection's eyes would take a second longer to follow. Once, I blinked. It didn't. Another time, I was showering, wiped steam from the mirror, and it scratched its neck. I wasn't scratching mine. I ran out soaking wet, knees scraped, screaming into the night. That's when I realized it wasn't copying me. It was training. I stopped sleeping. Left the TV on full volume. Tried to act normal. But the bathroom felt alive. Then one night I snapped. I grabbed a kitchen knife, took a deep breath and said, "I'm going in. I'll look straight at it, and I'll see what it does." The light had gone out. I set my phone on the sink, flashlight facing the mirror, and I stared. For a long time, it just stood there, breathing like me. But something was wrong. It wasn't shaking. My hands trembled, but the reflection was steady. Then I said, "What do you want?" It didn't answer, but it blinked. Slowly. Then, it took a step forward. But I didn't move. The flashlight fell. Darkness swallowed the room. I saw it again, its face right against the glass, eyes wide open, breathing heavy, almost feral. I was trapped. The only thing between us? That thin piece of glass, and then tap, then again, harder, Tap, 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 tap. The mirror vibrated. I fell, hit the tub. The flashlight flickered. And then I heard my own voice. From the mirror, "You left me here." It was distorted, like underwater. I aimed the light. My reflection was smiling, but I wasn't. Then, with my face still frozen, it raised its hands to the glass. I didn't. It was acting alone. Condensation fogged up behind the mirror, like someone was breathing inside. I lost it, grabbed the hairbrush and hurled it. Glass shattered, and it vanished. Only shards now. My face broken into pieces. I called a friend the next day, told him to rip the mirror out. Behind it, solid wall, no gap, no duct, but before sealing it up, I put my ear against it. I swear. I heard breathing, slow, deep, satisfied. We sealed it with cement. I moved, bought cheap, blurry plastic mirrors, avoided my own reflection. Time passed. And then, months later, at a barber shop, new city, new place, I sat down, and the mirror stared back. I blinked with my left eye. The reflection blinked with the right. The barber spoke. I nodded, but my reflection smiled first, just by a second. But that was enough. It didn't need the mirror anymore. Maybe it never did. This all started when I wasn't sleeping well. Work piling up, my boss breathing down my neck, anxiety waking me up at 3 a.m. like clockwork. Every night felt heavier than the last. I used to lock myself in the bathroom to breathe. Literally. Panic attacks, cold water on my face, hoping I'd snap back into my body. The apartment was new, high up on the 8th floor. Bare walls, concrete floors. The only thing the last tenant left behind was a big, frameless mirror glued to the bathroom wall. It had weird stains behind the glass, like old mold trapped inside. I didn't think twice about it. Just left it there. Then, one night, after another garbage night of no sleep, I stumbled into the bathroom again. And for just a second, I swear, I saw my reflection with a bloody nose, out of nowhere, just staring back at me, calm, still, but with blood running down from one nostril. I blinked, reached up to check. Clean. I looked again. Normal. I froze. I'm seeing things. I'm exhausted. It's all in my head. I went back to bed shaking, my pillow damp with sweat. Didn't sleep a second. 2 days later, in the kitchen, I bent down to grab a pan. As I stood up, I felt it. Warm blood, dripping from my nose, same side, same angle, exactly like in the mirror. That's when I started paying attention. Even when I didn't want to, my eyes would glance at that mirror whenever I passed by. And sometimes, I'd see flashes, quick blurs, like a skipped frame in a movie. One night, I saw a white bandage on my shoulder in the reflection. Weird spot, lower trapezius. The next day, I was moving a box and caught a screw sticking out of the wall. Tore my skin, needed gauze. Another time, I saw myself with wet hair plastered to my face. Hours later, a sudden rainstorm. I got drenched walking to the store. Coincidence? Maybe. But then it got worse. I was brushing my teeth late at night. Lights low, no sound, just the brush against my teeth. And then, without warning, my reflection raised its hand to its cheek. I hadn't moved. Mine was still down, but the reflection wiped its cheek. And then, a red mark appeared. A scratch, fresh, diagonal. I backed away, cold sweat, hand shaking. I touched my own face. Nothing, but the reflection kept staring. Calm, with that red scratch that didn't exist, yet. I couldn't sleep. Again. And when I woke up the next morning, around 5 a.m., I had this itch. Same cheek. Went to check. And there it was. The same scratch. Same angle. Now, real. After that, I stopped pretending. I covered the mirror with a towel, taped it up like a scared kid hiding from monsters in the closet. But the thing was, I could still feel it. Every time I walked by the bathroom, I felt like something behind that towel was awake, watching, still, patient. I started messing up at work, forgot appointments, mixed up names. I couldn't focus. But deep down, I was waiting. Waiting for the mirror to show me something again, and it did. 3 days later, I forgot to cover it. I woke up groggy with stomach pain. Walked to the bathroom half asleep, flicked the light on, and there I was, already standing in the reflection, but something was behind me. Just a shape. In the hallway. Tall. Still. I turned instantly. Nothing there. Looked back. The shadow was closer now. The mirror wasn't warning me. It was preparing me. That night, I fell asleep on the couch. Woke up sweating, heart pounding. The TV was on, just static. I got up, walked toward the hallway, and something ran behind me. I saw it. In the TV reflection, low to the ground, crawling sideways like an animal, with arms. I bolted to the bathroom with my phone, turned on the camera, pointed it at the mirror, and froze. I was in the mirror, still on the couch, asleep, like I hadn't gotten up. But the shadow, it was right above me, leaning over, watching. Then, the version of me in the reflection moved its head. Slowly, I stopped looking at reflections after that. No phone screen, webcam taped over, microwave door covered. But even avoiding mirrors, I dreamed about them, every night. Same dream, me, in front of the bathroom mirror, and the reflection of me had its eyes sewn shut. Black thread across the eyelids, tight, like it was trying to keep something in. And behind me, in the mirror, it, curled, bent, waiting, as if the reflection was protecting me. Third night in a row with the dream, I woke up with this horrible thought. What if that reflection isn't me anymore? What if whatever's in the mirror was just copying me, rehearsing, getting ready? That night, I tried something. I set up my phone to record, left it facing the mirror, hit record, walked out, stood outside the door, waited. 2 minutes. Then I came back and played the video. At first, nothing. Just the bathroom. Silent. Still. Then, I appeared. But I hadn't gone in. The reflection stepped into frame alone. Slowly. Smiling. And it looked straight into the camera. Not at itself. It lifted one hand. Then pointed. Toward the edge of the mirror. Where I had been standing. Then the video glitched. Shook. Like the phone had been knocked over. But the reflection never moved. After that, I wanted to smash the mirror, but something stopped me, like it wanted me to keep watching. That day, I barely moved, just sat, listening to the house breathe. And it was different, heavier, like someone else was in the room. That night, I woke up without realizing how. Found myself standing at the bathroom door. Lights off, door slightly open. Something pulled me in. No sound, just pressure. Like air pushing my chest toward the door. I stepped inside, and there it was. My reflection, already standing there, but with its back turned. I froze. It turned around slowly, and though it didn't speak, I understood it. Swap with me. Its posture, its stare, it said everything. It placed a hand on the mirror. I did the same, and then, the mirror gave way. Not shattered, sank. Like warm liquid, like tar. My hand slipped in, then my arm, then my face. I tried to pull back, fought hard, but the mirror had taste. It wanted me. In the final second before everything went dark, I saw, on the other side, my reflection, smiling. But it wasn't me. Not in the way it moved, not in the eyes. It was curious, testing. It walked out, and now, I don't know where I am. It's dark, cold, like I'm underwater. Sometimes I see it, on the other side, living my life, pretending. And the worst part, it's better at it than I ever was. Going back to my parents' house after years felt wrong. Everything was still the same. The damp smell of wood, the creaky furniture, the narrow hallway that always gave me the feeling someone might step out of the dark room at the end. But what unsettled me most was the bathroom. More specifically, the mirror. They'd changed it. It used to be a small, round one stuck to the wall with tape. Now it was this tall, rectangular thing with a thick wooden frame, too old-looking for the rest of the house. The first time I walked in and looked up after washing my face, something felt off. Nothing obvious, just my reflection looked more exhausted than I felt, like it hadn't slept all night. For me. I stared for a moment, confused, moved my head slightly to the side, and I swear, I saw the reflection move just a second later. A tiny delay, almost invisible, but it was there. I laughed. I'm just paranoid. But as I turned to leave, I paused, and in that exact moment, the reflection blinked first. After that, the tension never left. Every time I went into the bathroom, I felt like I was intruding, like something inside that mirror didn't want me there. Even when I tried to ignore it, I couldn't help noticing that delay, that anticipatory blink, that presence. One night, after a long day, I stood outside the bathroom for a while before going in, just breathing, trying to calm down. When I finally walked in, I mumbled, "Good morning," out of habit. And before the words left my mouth, a voice replied, "Good morning." But it came from the mirror. I froze. My breath caught in my throat. I opened my mouth to say something, anything, and the voice interrupted again. "I know what you're going to say." I stared at my reflection, but it wasn't just a reflection anymore. It had presence, like it was thinking, anticipating, a second ahead of me in every move. From that day on, I recorded everything. I took photos, audio notes, kept track of each strange flash, every time it reacted before I did. But things started changing. The reflection didn't just show me anymore. Other people began to appear. One night, I got up for water. The hallway light was just enough to see into the bathroom, and in the mirror, there was a woman behind me, standing still, pale, hair matted to her face, like she had just come out of the water. But nothing was dripping. She just stood there, staring. I turned around. No one. Turned back to the mirror. She was still there. Then, slowly, she turned her head to the side, like she heard something in the next room. I stood frozen. The light flickered twice. When it came back, she was gone. 4 days later, a woman upstairs was found dead. She'd drowned in her bathtub. An elderly woman, alone. Forgot to turn off the water, passed out, slipped under. When I saw the building's group chat, my blood ran cold. That night, the one when I saw her in the mirror, no one had entered or left my apartment. But I checked the hallway camera footage, and for 30 seconds, the feed went black, just where my bathroom door was. That's when I understood. The mirror wasn't showing the future. It was introducing me. It was a rainy weekend, heavy, the kind of rain that soaks into everything. I'd been avoiding the bathroom, doing everything elsewhere, but that night, something pulled me toward it. Not a sound, not a whisper, just pressure, like the air itself was pushing me forward. I opened the door. The light was already on. The mirror was spotless, too clean, shining. And in it, I was lying on the floor, face down, one arm twisted under my body, fingers curled, white shirt with a red stain in the middle. My phone lay next to me, screen on, a timer running. I froze. It wasn't a flash, it wasn't symbolic, it was live, real time. I dropped to my knees. Tears came without warning. But my reflection wasn't crying. It didn't move. It was already dead. And I understood. The mirror wasn't warning me. It was showing me how it ends. I stared at the reflection, and then I noticed a detail. Something small. The phone screen. The timer was still running. 0347, 0348, 0349. And I looked at the clock on the wall. It was 3:42. Panic surged through me. I jumped up, grabbed my phone, turned it off, threw it inside the microwave, unplugged everything, killed the lights. If I don't have my phone, the mirror can't be real, right? But I knew the truth. It wasn't about the object. It was about the moment. And the moment was coming. I started hearing noises, light taps, creaks in the floor, like something in the house was getting into position, waiting for me to fall. And then I made the worst mistake. I went back to the bathroom. I should have run, should have left, but I needed to see it. I opened the door wide, and the mirror was black. Not a reflection, just darkness. Like the glass was a window now, open. I stepped back, and then I saw myself, inside, standing, still, head down, hands covered in blood. It looked up. It was me, but not me. Not the way it moved, not the eyes. It tilted its head, curious. Then something shifted in the background, inside the mirror. Someone was coming, getting closer, behind me. I turned fast, no one there. Looked back. The reflection smiled and blinked. The mirror cracked. Darkness. And since that day, I don't see myself in any mirror anymore.